YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with another free agency signing grade video. Got a bunch of these already out, plenty more to come, breaking down all the signings in free agency, and I'm grading them. So again, plenty of videos like these already out and plenty more to come. We have two channels. On the second channel, we have the grades for all the trades. There's been a good amount of big trades that went down. I've graded them. If you look at the link in the description, in the comments, you can subscribe to both of our channels there. And then the Twitter's a must follow. Breaking news, instantly reacting to everything, talking all kinds of football every second. It's a must follow out down there. So check it out. And then the podcast, somewhat new here, 4 episodes out. Link down below for Spotify and Apple. Quickly, made a video about pretty much Tom Brady and the Buccaneers already. It's projected to be around $30 million per year there. It's probably a 2-year, $30 million per year, so $60 million deal there. We don't know the exact numbers, but I love it for the Buccaneers. Kind of made that clear already. It's an A-plus deal. They're instantly a contender, but not just because of Tom Brady. I think the rest of the team's improving. They've done a good job getting back Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul as well. Moving on to some of the newer ones. Leonard Floyd signed with the Rams. The Rams tried to get Dante Fowler Jr. back. They could not do it. They signed Leonard Floyd from the Bears to the Rams here. And his deal is a bit surprising to me. 1 year, it could reach $13 million. And this is a guy that's kind of proved he can't get to the quarterback, honestly. He can stop the run. And he needed a change of scenery. But if he can't succeed opposite of Khalil Mack, it's not looking too good. I was kind of hoping maybe he'll go to a 4-3 team, try that out, but does he have the strength to play DN at the same time? I think they overpaid him. It's not a guy that's going to get to the quarterback. The Rams are in a tough situation here. I'm giving it a D. Still young, still has upside. That's what's keeping it from an F, but it's a rough one. It's surprising, I guess. I know they missed out on Fowler, but still, that they couldn't pay a little. I mean, I guess it's a bit extra for Fowler, but I don't know. It seems desperate, like too desperate, though. I don't like that one. And then speaking of Dante Fowler, the Falcons signed him. There's other teams that had plenty of cap that I thought he would fit perfect and make them better. Those teams don't go for him. A team that's kind of sitting there, we think not going to be able to do much, is the Falcons, and they signed him to a 3-year, $48 million deal, $16 million per year. I like this a lot. I like Dante Fowler a lot. He's really improved his game. Still really young. Gets after the quarterback. The only bad thing I can think of here, and it might not be a bad thing, so that's why I'm not factoring in too much, is he was on Jacksonville, struggled a little bit early on. They ran a 4-3. He goes to the Rams. They run a 3-4. He's succeeded big time. I think he needs a 3-4. The Falcons have ran a 4-3, but to me, I see them switching to the 3-4. They don't have anything. They don't have any key pieces that stop them from switching to that. I know they have Grady Jarrett's key piece, but that's not a guy that's going to, stop you from changing your scheme because, where he plays, he's flexible enough to do anything there. So I would like to see what they do with them. Hopefully they don't stick in that 4-3. I think he can succeed still in it, but that if they are in a 4-3, that's something to think about, I guess. But I do like this. Falcons making other teams kind of look silly here. They're sitting around doing nothing. The Falcons are sitting here with limited cap, and they get a big-time player here who's young and rapidly improving, in my opinion. So, him with Grady Jarrett on the inside is fantastic, in my opinion. And the new CBA was a big, that was a big win for the Falcons because they were able to save more money on the cuts they made because of the new CBA. They're able to shift around some dead cap. So that new CBA was big time for the Falcons, that passing. Been talking about that on Twitter, how that works. Lindval Joseph, big goon to the Chargers. The deal is 2 years, $17 million. That's $18.5 million per year. The only downside Linval Joseph is he's had some injuries the last couple years. They're starting to catch up to him. That's bad. That's the bad part. Here's the good part. He seems to be playing through them. He seems to be playing through them. And this guy is a beast of a nose tackle. I like this one. I guess the injury is what keeps it from being an A+, something to keep an eye on. But I think an absolute perfect fit at nose tackle for the Chargers defense. Jerry Tillery going to be the D tackle next to him. I love that fit. Inside guys like Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. I love this. I love this signing for sure. That's an A for the Chargers. They also signed Chris Harris, still at the time of recording this, still waiting on the numbers on that one. Danny Shelton goes to the Lions. The Lions getting a good amount of players here this free agency. They need a nose tackle. Speaking of nose tackles, they needed one. Snacks Harrison was gone. And they get a pretty good one, Danny Shelton. Then you look at the numbers: 2 year, $8 million. That's $4 million per year. That's an A+ deal right there. $4 million per year for, to me, a proven nose tackle. And everyone loves going and running. Look at the stats. How many sacks he plays defense line? How many sacks did he have? I don't care about the sacks. I thought he was pretty productive for his position this year, anyways. This guy's job is to stop the run. He does that. He's getting better doing that. He's still young, got some upside. The Lions needed it. They got it. It's a cheap deal. I like that deal very much for the Lions. We're moving on. Next free agency signing, Vernon Butler to the Bills. And Vernon Butler gets a deal of 2 years, $60 million. So $8 million per year, maybe $1 million or two more than I thought he would get, because and that's kind of the tricky part with this, because he's only had one really good year, one solid year, I should say. Other than that, he was kind of almost known as a bust, maybe not quite yet, but close. And the Panthers were in a 4-3 when he wasn't playing too good. Then they switched to a 3-4 when he did play good. The Bills run a 4-3 scheme, so that, I guess, is a little concerning, but based on who they got, their personnel, I think the Bills can give different looks, and I think that's what they're going to do here. Why they have so many defensive linemen is because they want to give different types of looks. They have a good rotation. They don't want to just have guys in the same exact position all the time. So I like the idea of this. I'm going to give it a B. He can move around a bit on the D-line, get some pressure, so there's some upside with this one. And then the next, this one, Quinton Jefferson, is another Bills signing, and mind-blowing, in my opinion, absolutely mind-blowing that he got less money than Vernon. Vernon Butler got 2 years, $16 million. Quinton Jefferson got 2 years, $13.5 million. That's $6.75 million per year. I don't have enough pluses to put on the end of this one. This might be my favorite signing of all the free agency so far. It's definitely up there. And I talked about him in the past in videos, so I knew going into free agency, whoever got him was going to get a pretty good deal, and I was going to really, really like it. They got a better deal than I thought. Quinton Jefferson can play all over the defensive line for the Seattle Seahawks. He lined up at nose. He lined up at 3 technique, 5 technique, lined up as an edge rusher at time, because they pretty much had only Clowney as an edge rusher, and he was out of some games. He was productive from everywhere. The stats won't show tremendous production, but if you watch the tape, if you watch the game, he was a huge impact, and he was productive in my opinion. He was a key piece of that Seahawks defensive line. This is big time for the Bills. This is one of my favorite signings of all of free agency so far. That is a big time get for the Bills there, and a great deal for them. Not for him. Not for him really. He goes to a good defense, but I thought he would get a lot more than that. Then Gerald McCoy goes to the Cowboys here. Yeah, I like the deal's team friendly, I suppose. 3 year, $20.5 million. I'm surprised by the 3 year. It's a good player. Yeah, maybe they get better in the interior defensive line, but maybe it's only better for this year, maybe 2 years. So I'm going to give it a B. They do get better there, but I'm going to give it a B. 3 year deal, and I think they still, even though they spent some money, they missed out on Chris Harris. Obviously, they still have some money to spend. You think they would gone a little bigger here at this position? So there's some good things, there's some bad things here. I give it a B, and then we move on just to the rest here. And there was some more signings. Malcolm Jenkins went to the Saints. Speaking of the Saints, Eli Apple went to the Raiders. I don't have the contract details on that yet, so those guys will be in the next video. Hopefully, still waiting on the Marcus Mariota contract details too. So we'll get to those guys. Don't worry. The Jets sign Brian Poole, their slot corner, 1 year, $5 million. That's an A for me. I haven't liked the Jets signing so far. Here's a couple that I do like. That's an A. He played well for them. Low risk, high reward. Same thing for Connor McGovern. Proven center. Nothing spectacular, but he's a proven good center. 3 year, $27 million. It's a good deal. It's what they needed. They didn't show desperation on that one like they did with the other offense linemen that they signed, so I give that an A. The Dolphins signed center Ted Karras, 1 year, $4 million. Yeah, wasn't a starter the whole time. He's gotten experience. He's shown that he can play. Low risk, high reward. I love this deal for the Dolphins. It's an A+. The Cowboys signed Sean Lee, linebacker, 1 year, $4.5 million. Yeah, very cheap. Yeah, we know he's good. Maybe not as good as he once was. We know he has injury concern, but it's cheap. It's a guy that fits. We know that as well. So that's an A. A lot of good grades here on this more signings page for this video. Redskins signed Darqueze Dennard, good slot corner, young, on the rise. Started his career off a little slow. He's getting better and better. I like that. I like that signing too. 3 years, you lock him up where he can continue to get better over the 3 years, and you're only paying $13.5 million. I like that deal. That's an A. And the Seahawks need offensive lineman. They get one here, a guard from the Steelers, B.J. Finney. Low risk, high reward here. I think he'll be good with the Seahawks. 2 year, $8 million. That's $4 per year. That's an A for me. So you see the more signings page. We got some good ones here. I think for the most part we had good ones in this whole video. So you like to see that. Like I said, Malcolm Jenkins signed with the Saints. Interesting to see what the contract is there because he wanted $14 million from the Eagles. Don't think he got that from the Saints, but why did he demand that from the Eagles is the question. The Jenkins pairing with Marcus Williams could be fun, but I know maybe the fan base wanted Von Bell back. Eli Apple goes to the Raiders. Don't know the contract details on that one, but is a little confusing because I think it was kind of go big or go home at corner because you already have kind of the Eli Apple type corners, like the same talent level, young, maybe a little younger, even though Eli Apple is still pretty young. So that one, it depends on the contract, of course. That's why I wait to do it, but a little confusing. And then the Rams did sign Andrew Whitworth. Don't have the contract details on that, and more things are happening as I'm talking right now, so that's why we're going to have more videos. But Whitworth almost retired, it sounded like, but they signed him to a 3-year deal from what I'm hearing, so that's a little confusing, but they needed him back. I think he had leverage in that one. So we'll see the details in that, but yeah, hopefully you stick with us and look forward to those other videos like these. We got plenty of them already out, plenty more to come. And then our second channel, the Go House Plus, you'll find a link down below, has all the trade videos, trade grades, and breakdowns. So full content here all year long for the NFL. We got you covered. Go follow that Twitter. There's a link down in the description. It's a must follow at this time of year. It's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.